Yeah, I think the most important thing is I have become fascinated by the actual causes of illness. And I've come to realize that for many years, I was obsessed with giving medication for illnesses, but I'd missed the most important thing, which is why is somebody ill? And maybe you can do a better job if you understand why they have this illness. And in some cases, you're actually able to reverse it. And obviously, we're going to talk about type 2 diabetes. And I think it just suffices it to say that until 2012, I hadn't done any of this work. I just looked after people and prescribed. And now I love it if I can use lifestyle medicine tailored to the patient, looking at why are they actually ill. So that's one of my enthusiasms is lifestyle medicine. The other is patient activation, where I'm really interested in, instead of doing medicine to people, I work with patients and we together have shared goals about that person's future. Because as a doctor, that's way more satisfying than doing medicine to people. And I love the work I do now. I think that's the other thing. I'm 64 and I love my job. So I've just been there today. I've seen loads of happy patients. People have changed their lives. And I find in the UK, the number of cheerful old GPs is vanishingly small. I think I'm the oldest doctor in a 50 to 60 mile radius. I must be. All my friends have retired 10 years ago now. So that's a bit more general about me there.
So Unwin, you were a classically trained doctor. You weren't trained in lifestyle medicine. So what brought you to the low carbohydrate sort of space? How did you find out about the low carbohydrate?
Yeah, that's a little, well, there were several, yeah, there was several threads to it. The first thread was a sense of disappointment in myself. So in 2012, I was like many other doctors. I wasn't really enjoying my work. I was exhausted and disappointed because I'd become a doctor to make a difference. And I didn't really feel I was making much of a difference. Patients are very polite, but they didn't look better for my intervention. They didn't look really well. All I'd seen was gradually, from what I'd seen of the world, people were getting sicker and sicker. They were certainly becoming fatter, and mental health was deteriorating and physical health was deteriorating. So that was quite disappointing for me, really. So I'd given decades of my life, and the population I serve seemed to be getting less well, not better. So the background was I was a bit disappointed in myself, and I was wondering about retiring and doing something else. And then a single patient changed my life and the life, arguably, of millions of other people through me. And this was a lady. I knew she wasn't taking her medication for type 2 diabetes. And in the UK, we're partly paid to check that people are taking their medication. I knew she wasn't, so I wrote to her to say I was concerned. Would you come and see me? I was in for a shock because, well, several shocks, actually. The first was when she walked in, I didn't recognize her because she'd lost so much weight. She looked fabulous, and I tried to send her out of the room thinking the wrong patient had come in. The second shock was she was hopping mad. She was cross. And she was cross because she said, Dr. Unwin, you've been giving me metformin now for my diabetes for about a decade. And I haven't been taking my metformin now for months, and my blood sugar is absolutely normal. It's not even in the diabetic range. So I feel I've put my diabetes into remission without your help. And you never ever told me that rice was actually sugar, that bread is sugar, that pasta is sugar. And if you had, you could have saved me the side effects of metformin for 10 years. So I had an angry woman on my hands, and I knew I need to listen and listen fast and listen well. So I said, you know, I'm amazed. You look fabulous. Clearly, I've got something to learn. And she was the first one that mentioned to me about the low carb diet. I'd never heard of it. But the physiology of it made sense, because I did remember somewhere in my training that starch was glucose molecules holding hands, and that starchy foods digest down into sugar. So I knew she had a point. And I did feel guilty, because clearly she had sorted herself out, and no thanks to me. And that was the beginning of the journey, because I discovered that there were thousands and thousands of people on social media like her, helping themselves, improving their own diabetes, and being criticized by the healthcare professionals involved. So I decided to make it up to the world for my wasted decades, that I would help this group spread the message of a low carb diet helping people with type 2 diabetes. And since then, we've done television programs, radio programs. We did a BBC One documentary that went out to 4 million people. I've gone all over the world. So it's a surprising story, because I was all ready to stop work. And here I am, still here, and I've been in this afternoon, and I enjoy my work. And we've managed to roll out some of what we do around the world. And I should say now, so at that point, in 2012, I had never seen drug-free type 2 diabetes remission. I hadn't seen it a single time. And not, so that was the first lady, number one. And now we're at 121 people who have achieved what to me is an amazing, astonishing thing. And they're a very cheerful bunch. So we've now got 121 of them. So that's kind of where we're up to.
That's a very touching story, how one person's journeys or one person's success story can inspire hundreds and hundreds of others.
Yes.